Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to act as your strategic guide to navigating uncertainty. We'll be looking at a really fascinating framework offered by CreationUnified.com. It's called the Structured Scenario Intelligence Service, or SIS for short. Look, if you've ever felt like your organization is totally drowning in data, but somehow still starving for actual clarity about the future, well, you are definitely in the right place. Believe it or not, research shows that companies analyze less than 12% of the data they actually collect. The rest is just, digital hoarding. So we're going to explore how to move beyond all that noise, leave behind those isolated hit-or-miss forecasts, and actually build a structured view of what your operating conditions might look like next. Here's a really quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll start with the headache of fragmented data, introduce the SSI framework, see how it works under the hood, look at the actual deliverables, and wrap up with how this brings real clarity to decision-making. Let's jump right in. Section 1. The problem with fragmented data and the very real challenge of information overload. Now, almost every leadership team out there struggles to answer one ultimate question. What operating conditions are becoming more likely, and what should we actually do about them? Think about it. Most organizations have absolutely no shortage of information, but having data is kind of like having 1,000 puzzle pieces just dumped right on your desk. If you don't have the picture on the front of the box, it is incredibly hard to see how those pieces fit together to show you the future. And here is the core issue. Your economic reports might be telling you one thing, while your internal sales dashboards are telling you the exact opposite. Regulatory news might be shifting over here, while infrastructure limits are suddenly popping up over there. These fragmented signals constantly conflict with each other. When leaders evaluate these factors independently, they develop critical blind spots. And the result? They end up making huge, high-stakes decisions like where to invest or how to hire based on an incomplete picture. Moving to Section 2, introducing Structural Scenario Intelligence and the SSI framework. Let's see how we actually solve this fragmentation problem. What's really interesting about Structural Scenario Intelligence, or SSI, is how simple the core definition actually is. It's a structured intelligence service evaluating which future operating environments are becoming more likely and why. That's it. It's not some magic crystal ball. It is a systematic, step-by-step framework designed to evaluate how multiple pressures combine. It helps organizations understand not just what might happen tomorrow, but the actual hard reasons supporting those possibilities. The absolutely crucial difference here lies in the approach. Traditional forecasting tries to predict a single, specific outcome. It's literally like trying to hit a bullseye in the pitch dark. SSI, on the other hand, evaluates multiple future scenarios. It looks at how different pressures interact to create entirely different environments, giving you a much more flexible, realistic framework for planning. All right, Section 3, how the analysis works, moving from raw data to actionable intelligence. Let's look under the hood. The engine that drives SSI essentially has 3 distinct steps. Step 1 is gathering the right information sources. Step 2 is applying artificial intelligence to organize that massive amount of data. And Step 3, definitely the most important one, is human analysis. Let's break these down one by one to see how they work together to build that picture on the puzzle box. Let's look at the data itself first. SSI pulls in public data, things like economic trends, industry reports, new regulations, and public infrastructure data. This is the outside world. But optionally, organizations can plug in their own proprietary data too, like their sales, customer retention, workforce turnover, and internal operations. Bringing the outside environment and your inside reality together, that is what makes this analysis so powerful. Now we get to steps 2 and 3, and I want to be super clear about this element: human oversight. SSI does not ask AI to guess the future. No way. AI is strictly used as an analytical tool to organize mountains of text, find patterns, and compare historical data. But the final scenario construction, the review of the evidence, and the actual interpretation, that remains entirely under human supervision. Basically, AI organizes the puzzle pieces, but human experts put the picture together. And what exactly are those human experts looking at? Well, they're looking at these structural pressures: workforce conditions, capital availability, regulation changes, infrastructure capacity, technology adoption, and market demand. But here is the key takeaway. These forces do not operate in a vacuum. A change in regulation impacts capital availability. A shift in technology impacts the workforce. SSI focuses heavily on these interaction effects, how these forces push and pull on each other to shape your future reality. Section 4. What clients actually receive.
the intelligence report. Let's talk about the tangible output of all this hard work.
At the end of the day, every SSI engagement results in a structured intelligence report packed with decision-ready information. You get the executive summary, an analysis of those pressures and constraints we just talked about, a matrix of different possible scenarios, an assessment of which scenarios are most probable, early warning indicators, and clear decision pathways. And because SSI is an intelligence product rather than a traditional consulting engagement, this report is designed to stand entirely on its own. It gives you independent support without requiring endless billable consulting hours.
Section 5. Who uses this service? Let's check out some real-world applications across different industries. SSI is incredibly adaptable across industries. Because the framework looks at underlying structural pressures, regional banks can use it to assess the lending environment and credit risk. Meanwhile, private equity firms use it to screen markets before deploying capital. Healthcare systems use it to forecast patient demand against their workforce limitations, and executive teams across the board use it for core strategic planning. The challenges are totally different, but the need for clear visibility, that's exactly the same.
And that brings us to Section 6, clarity for better decisions and moving forward with confidence. Let's wrap up with the ultimate value this brings to the table.
A major takeaway here is that SSI is not just a static, one-time document that gathers dust on a shelf somewhere. It provides ongoing monitoring. The report gives you specific early warning indicators to actively track if operating conditions are getting stronger, getting weaker, or shifting entirely toward a different scenario. It creates a customized dashboard for your organization so you can watch these indicators as the future unfolds in real time.
Listen, if you only remember one thing from this entire explainer, please make it this. The goal is not prediction certainty. Trying to perfectly predict an uncertain future is just a fool's errand. The goal is decision clarity. SSI helps you understand exactly what pressures are building around you so that you know which decisions make the most sense as those conditions evolve. It literally replaces guessing with evidence.
It all boils down to one simple, profound philosophy. Better decisions require better visibility. You simply cannot confidently lead an organization through complex, interconnected times if your vision is blocked by conflicting, fragmented data. You have to step back, structure the information, and clear the fog. To move beyond those isolated forecasts and bring this evidence-based clarity to your own team, you need to visit creationunified.com. Whether you need executive intelligence, regional analysis, quarterly monitoring, or full enterprise licensing, you can request a specific SSI quote that fits your exact scope. So I'll leave you with this final thought. If your current operating environment suddenly shifted tomorrow, would your data tell you what happened after the fact, or would your intelligence have already prepared you for the change? Think about it. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.